Hey, you guys. One of the biggest questions that we get at Hormones Balance is what do you recommend for house cleaning products? And so, in the past, I used to recommend just a DIY quick solution like using water and vinegar and some essential oils in it. And it works to some degree and it doesn't to other. And so just about a year ago, came across Brunch Basics. And the founder is here with me today. One of the co-founders is here with me today. So I invited her to talk to us about this and to really understand how cleaning products, how important they are, and the difference they can really make in our own life. And so, it's not surprising you guys are asking about it because you know me as the food and supplement person, right? I'm so big on nutrition, changing your diet. I write cookbooks. That's why we have so many recipes for you always. But I think as you go on that journey, then you start like peeling it like an onion, right? Layer after layer. And many of you have started with the food and diet, and you follow us, and you got my programs and cookbooks, and then you start adding the supplements, and you start feeling way better. And there's a natural progression, and you start looking at what about my skincare products? What about my cosmetics? What about the stuff that I clean the house with? And so this is where I think it's a very natural question so many of you have been asking. And I know not everybody is a fan of water and vinegar because it doesn't maybe feel like it works for everything in the house. And so I want to address that because there are some ready products that you can use. We've come across Brunch Basics after a lot of researching on who is a good partner for us to bring into the space. I want to also share and give credit to my colleague, Clara Adler. Some of you who are practitioners may know her. She goes by the environmental toxins expert. And she is one of the hardest people to please ever. She is really particular about what goes into a product for right reasons, because your skin does absorb it. And we do inhale that stuff, whatever we clean products with, whatever we clean houses with. And she was one of the other people who echoed back and she said, Brunch Basics is really solid. You're going to love it. I got a sample of it, started using it, and there's many reasons why I love it. One of it is also environmental factors and how little you need of it to use it. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. So good to have you here. Hi there.
I'm so excited.
Yeah. So
I feel like this is combining all my favorite subjects, like real food, high quality supplements, cleaning, hormones, just like all of it's coming together. So
yeah. So stay on for the demo. We're going to do like a simple demo of how to use the product. And one of the cool things about Brunch Basics is the fact that they use one concentrate that can then be used for various applications around the house. And that's just so cool because you can reuse the same bottles over and over again. I love that environmental factor behind it. You don't throw bottles away. And I will say one thing, as many of you know very well, I'm not American. I've lived in the United States for over 10 years, but most of my life before that was spent elsewhere. And one of the things that was really fascinating arriving in the United States, which certainly felt like landing on a different planet, was one of it was like you walk into a supermarket and you have like this vast variety of things that's so overwhelming, right? Whether it's like, 30 different types of yogurts. And where I grew up, it was just like we had 5, right? And then aisles and aisles of, medication for your constipation and then the cleaning products, right? You walk in and not only does it smell in such overwhelming, offensive way. I don't know about you guys, but I get a headache. Like when I walk into Walmart, I don't go to Walmart, but like CVS or Walgreens once in a while, for some strange reason, I'll walk in. I get a headache from being there just for a while. And I really don't know how people work there because it's so toxic. But anyway, and so you walk in and it's like, you have these 5 cleaners just for your toilet and 5 cleaners just for your sink and 5 cleaners just for your windows. And everything is like so divisive. Making us feel like, you need all this variety of products in order to clean your house. And it turns out that is absolutely not necessary. And also saves you a lot of time, effort, money, and just stupid bottles, plastic bottles that you're throwing down the drain or down your trash. So, you know what? I would love to start off with, you have a really interesting story that I think a lot of our folks will connect with, of history of hormonal problems, autoimmunity running in your family. And you guys came together as sisters and with your mom, correct?
It's actually my best friend, Kelly, who we met in college when I was going through all of my health issues. And then my aunt, Marilee, and she's the one that really opened my eyes to tossing all the toxins in my diet and hormone disrupting chemicals in my home.
So tell us about that. Like, how did it start for you?
Yeah. It did not start with me wanting to sell a cleaning product. That is the first thing. So I guess I'll dive straight in because your audience is not going to be shy about this, but I had my one and only period in 6th grade, and then nothing came back. I never had another period until high school. And my mom said, you know what, we need to go see a fertility specialist, living in Houston, Texas. So there were many to choose from. And he was one of the very top ones. And he took a quick sonogram and could see that my ovaries were covered in cysts. Like, he said it was one of the worst he'd ever seen. Wanted me to sign off on being in a textbook with my ovaries being taught about, this is what you don't want your ovaries to look like. So I had always thought of myself as healthy, and I thought, okay, well, I'm now the girl that has PCOS. He told me I would never be able to have children naturally. I needed to be on birth control indefinitely. I just, smiled and I owned it, and I took the birth control, and that was that. Fast forward about 4 years later, 3 years later, maybe, I'm in college, and I came down with this mysterious pain, like from head to toe. And it most closely resembled MS. There were a few doctors that threw that out. I had to drop out of school, and I couldn't sit through class. I was in terrible pain. I was on muscle relaxers, painkillers, antidepressants, sleeping pills, all the things, for about 2 years. And I was living with Kelly, my best friend at the time, who is now my co-founder. And so my aunt, Marilee, who's an environmental health consultant, basically calls up her niece. We weren't very close at the time. And she just said, look, I know this thing sounds crazy, but I need you to get rid of all the chemicals in your food. We need to switch your supplements to high quality supplements, get rid of all your pesticides, all of your toxic cleaning products, stop, using fragrance, dryer sheets and candles. And I'm like, what? But I did. I had nothing to lose. And I was able to cut my hydrocodone in half within about a month. I mean, it was amazing. My pain just started dropping off. So upon graduation from college, Kelly and I were completely just mystified by how my body had responded over the past 12 months. We went to the hill country in Texas to live with my Aunt Marilee. And that's when our eyes were open. We would never be the same. We walked into our home and it just smelled like nothing, no fragrances, no chemicals. It was like an extension of the outside. And we listened to her do these consultations with people where she was constantly asking for a 3-day diet diary, where she would assess, the food, not just for gluten-free or dairy-free or paleo. It was all about just chemicals. Like, let's get the chemicals out, the processed ingredients out. Let's just start with real food. Let's take out your pesticides, take out your candles. Anyway, that's just where she started. No matter what anyone was suffering with, she wanted to toss the toxins. So that was kind of the rhetoric that we were learning. By the end of the summer, it was 8 weeks. I was off all my medication. Wow. A year later, I went and got a sonogram. There were no cysts. Well, there were 3. There was 2 on my left and 1 on my right. It was basically gone. So I was asked to speak to PCOS support groups. About 2 years later, I woke up and I had my period for the first time in my life since 6th grade. It was just, it was like better than our wedding day. My husband and I were in tears. We're like, oh my gosh. And the only thing I did, I got off birth control. I tossed all my toxins. And then a year later, and then 3 years later, we had 2 babies pregnant naturally and birthed them at home. So yeah, that's my story.
Yeah. And then just to be fair, I mean, this wasn't just toxins from house cleaning products, right? But I mean, it was from your diet.
I put in, on, and around my body. And that really is something to stress, because this is not like go home. Yeah. Change your products in your house or your beauty care or whatever. We're talking like, I looked at ingredient labels. There were most of the things I ate didn't even have a label. So it really was about everything I was putting in, on, and around my body.
Yeah. Awesome. So, so let me ask you this. What are some of the most offensive ingredients that are found in cleaning products that are advertised on? I'm talking about the mainstream ones that are like advertised on mainstream television, that when you have a break in between, in a movie or whatever, you see cleaning products being advertised from all the big companies. No need to name anybody, but just what's the overarching theme, some of the chemicals, and what do they do to us?
Yeah. Oh gosh, I could go on and on, but especially now during this time. And so I guess the things that we're mainly seeing between shows are disinfectants. And I think a lot of people don't realize that most disinfectants, pretty much all the conventional ones, contain an EPA registered pesticide. So we work hard. We shop at Whole Foods or local farmers markets to make sure we're not, putting pesticides in our mouth, but we're oftentimes buying them at the grocery store, bringing them under our sinks and in our cabinets, and at the parts per million, parts per billion level, they're creating a toxic chemical soup in our homes, and pesticides wreak havoc on the endocrine system, neurological system. I mean, that could go on and on. From a hormone standpoint and just an overall health standpoint, the really, really big offenders in conventional and unfortunately non-toxic cleaning products are the synthetic fragrances. So they mimic our natural hormones. They latch to our hormone receptor sites. They throw off our endocrine system, fill our endocrine pathways with a bunch of gunk, and they do not belong in the home ever. And they sneak their way in through, even trash bags, toilet paper, most lotions, almost all cleaning products that have a scent. When you turn a bottle around, and if it smells like peppermint, you need to see peppermint oil, lavender oil, whatever you're smelling, you need to see that name and the oil that it was derived from. Because a lot of times instead, you're just going to see the word fragrance or parfum. And that is a concoction of sometimes dozens and dozens of synthetic chemicals. So those are probably my two biggest. And of course, if you ever have a product, this is caution, warning, or danger.
Yeah, totally. So, next question I have for you is, by the way, you guys, in case you are wondering, because we are beginning to get questions in about asking about your aunt, for example. So the aunt is part of the company they've set up, which is called Brunch Basics. And we've got a really sweet deal from them. I'm just going to post you guys the link. You can check out the starter kit. We're going to talk about this in just a second. The starter kit is really where you can start off with the whole thing. We got with your whole cleaning around the house. We'll talk about this. The deal is that we are getting 15% off. So you're basically getting, instead of paying $59, you can get that for just below $50. And this discount is valid until the 25th, so another 10 days. Take advantage of that. Can we just, Elena is asking, I get sick when I smell candles or perfume. Yeah, that's because it's synthetic stuff, right? But also, for people who have compromised liver, you might even get the same effect from essential oils because it can be a little bit overwhelming, but certainly it's not going to be toxic like the way fragrances are. The other thing you mentioned, I want to also mention about the synthetic stuff, you guys, is that really just go around checking all your cleaning stuff. Anything that smells nice, like other than essential oils, you want to check that away. The big thing, this is part of the reason why we invited Brunch Basics here to talk to us about that is because it's Breast Cancer Month, right? One of the big things is that when anybody will tell you who was diagnosed with breast cancer, they go on this huge cleanup of the house. They clean up their diet, they clean up their relationships, they clean up their whole home, they clean up their laundry detergents, right? Everything just goes under microscopical analysis in the house. But I really I'm doing this work because I just want you to take the steps now and don't wait till you have breast cancer, right? That's the whole thing. That's why I hate the whole concept of Breast Cancer Awareness Month. We are very well aware it is a problem. Why are we not talking about prevention more? And so that's what we're doing at Hormones Balance. We're talking about prevention. So, so what I would love to, Alison, invite you to do is, why don't you just show us the product, because we've got so many questions that are coming in right now.
Sure.
Why don't you just show us how the product works, and then maybe we could talk a little bit later what's in it and why does it make it so effective and non-toxic.
Sure. I apologize for it being a little bit wonky, but I set up just like a mock demo behind me just before this call. So I'm going to try to bring y'all a little bit closer. Okay. So this is the lineup of what we have. And really what it comes down to is this one product. So this is the cleaning concentrate. This product alone will replace your dishwasher cleaner, it's great for laundry, for dishes, for stain removal. So you use this to fill up the all-purpose, the streak-free, and the bathroom bottles. So depending on the bottle, you have different fill lines. So I don't know if y'all can see this, but you have water to here, and then just the concentrate just goes right to there.
I love this. It's so beautifully simple.
Yeah, thank you. That was our whole goal, is we're telling people to toss the toxins, but then we want to make sure that we actually can provide people with an alternative that is not only safe, which is our number one goal, but will actually work and will actually remove the toughest of stains like a conventional product. And then we even have a hand foaming soap, so you can replace, all of your hand foamers. You can add an essential oil if you'd like. It's not necessary. This is what I use to bathe my babies. It's what I've used from the beginning. And then we have a laundry bottle. So same thing, same product. You just fill it to a different fill line. You're using a lot more concentrate for the laundry. And then last but not least is the oxygen boost. It actually boosts the effect of the concentrate. So any stains that are having a hard time with, you can use it for grout and tile, porcelain sinks, and also just for laundry, for whites and for colors. So yeah, that's the whole line. This is the starter kit. It comes in this little box, and it's $59 typically. And then you guys are getting a 15% off coupon code, which lasts the next 10 days.
So can you just give us a little bit of like an insight? Why does it work in terms of like it, and it works because I use it for my laundry. I've used it for, I just want to share with you guys one quick story. So I had a housekeeper. Unfortunately, they don't come anymore because I'm up at the mountains and they had an accident driving up a mountain. So they stopped. They don't want to come up here anymore. But I worked with them for like 2 years. They were just my beloved housekeepers. And when I first met them, they were using, they came to the house with like a whole set of their own products, and they insisted they wanted to use this. And I was like, no, you can't use it. It really smells really terrible in the house. They're like, no, it smells really nice. I'm like, no, it smells terrible. And so, and I worked with them for 2 years. It was this lovely couple. And I think they had a lot of appreciation for natural stuff because they were both originally from Nepal, they're Nepalese. And so, but their whole lives, they just worked with these kind of products. And I think it was like 6 months in when she said to me, she says, all my allergies are gone. My skin doesn't feel dry anymore, right? And she says, I can breathe again. Like I don't have any asthma anymore. And that's all she changed, because I think the diet is pretty good because they keep a pretty traditional Nepalese diet. But all she changed was their skincare, her cleaning products. And obviously, then she started getting a lot of her clients on board, right? And then before we stopped working together, the 2 years in, she would tell her clients if they want chemicals in a house, she wouldn't want to do the work because she was getting sick from it. Yeah. And so it was just a wonderful reminder, just like how so she's like an isolated case of she's like a good case of, of isolating that she hasn't changed anything else but her cleaning products. And what a big relief she got from there. It was pretty amazing. And so she always used to say, you saved my life. I think it's an exaggeration. I don't think I saved her life, but I certainly have improved her quality of her life. She was convinced, she says, I would have died of cancer if I continued being this way. So it was like this intuitive thing, so it was just really wonderful for them to be even open and be able to determine like how much of their health changes has started happening, and getting other people on board, which is like, I love that.
I love that. And I don't think it's an exaggeration, especially if that's her vocation and they're being exposed to these cancer-causing ingredients day in and day out. And most likely, if you think about it, just our laundry, think about what you use in your laundry and how it is on your clothes. When you get in bed, it's on your pillowcase. And when you're naked in the shower, it's on your washcloth. Like you don't escape it. And so if you were to change just one thing, we always say start with your laundry because it follows you everywhere.
So Carly is posting a lot of different things about you guys. I think she's a big advocate of you, saying you can learn more about the Brunch Basics story here. So she just posted that. So what is the coupon code? Shabana Patel is asking. It's Hormones Balance. Sorry, I didn't mention that. It's Hormones Balance. So we have a few questions coming in. Anne is asking, how does it address mold and mildew in showers?
Very well. So that's really where the oxygen boost comes in. So again, you would just use the bathroom spray. Now, if we're talking like a really depends on the mold and mildew. So I'm not here to tell you that it's going to eradicate all of your mold in your house or whatever current issue you may have. You may need to bring something more powerful in the beginning to at least get back to a baseline. But then once that surface is pretty clear and clean, you can definitely prevent any mold or mildew growth by using Brunch Basics. And many times it does get rid of the mold and mildew. So like I said, it just depends. But using the bathroom dilution and then sprinkling the oxygen boost, letting it sit. And then we have a little scrub brush. You can use any brush really to irritate the area.
Can we let's show the page, because I know you wanted to talk about some stuff on the page that is helpful for those of you who are checking out the starter kit. So that's the link, you guys. You can click on the link. That's the one that gets you the $5 off. Let me just figure out a way here to share my screen on that particular page.
Yeah, it does give a good visual of what you can make with the concentrate. So if you want to scroll down.
Yep. Okay, so if you guys scroll down here, okay, this is the one we want to talk about, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So all of just that one bottle, like I showed you guys, it's really like the Mac Daddy. You really don't need to buy all the empty bottles. You can use your own empty bottles. We also offer glass bottles, which we're huge fans of the glass bottle. But this concentrate alone makes all of the things that you're seeing right there in that visual. I don't think I need to, verbalize it, but it's amazing. I think people first think, oh, wow, that seems kind of expensive. And then once you really break it down, and the fact that you're never having to repurchase, an empty bottle, like if it breaks, we'll send you a new one. This is why our subscribers keep going up and up, because people realize if they can just every 2 months get their main concentrate, then they're good on cleaning. That's all they need.
Okay. Yeah, that's great. And I love the fact that you're not buying more bottles and throwing away more plastic bottles down in recycling. Because, hey, you guys, if you think recycling is, is going to take care of all the plastics, unfortunately, that is a bit of a myth. It's in fact a big myth. And China stopped buying all the recycling from America. And so recycling is really changing. So it's not as benign as you think it is. So the less plastic you throw down your recycling, the better it is for the environment. And I just love the fact that you are just reusing everything.
Well, I like what you said about the cleaning product aisle. I mean, so not only does it smell awful, and I'm with you, I don't know how people can work in the stores. I feel so badly for them. But if you think about the cleaning product aisle, it's literally a bunch of water bottled in plastic bottles with a few drops of toxic chemicals.
Exactly. And some of them
are exaggerating, but your toilet cleaner and your dish cleaner are like not that different sometimes.
So Stacey's asking, is there somewhere on the page we can see the ingredients? Absolutely. So do you want to just walk us through the ingredients, like what's in it? So that's on the page, guys, on the starter kit. It's right there.
Yes, we formulated this product, but I am not the formulator, so I cannot speak to this in a scientific way. I will say, if you're asking, which I think most people want to know this, and your audience is very educated, but like, why does your product differ from other completely clean, non-toxic products? And I would say in a nutshell, the answer is our preservative. So we do not include anything like citric acid or potassium sorbate or sodium benzoate or anything in the isothiazolone family, which are included in pretty much every non-toxic cleaner that's on the aisle. So we have been very grateful for chamomile extract, which helps stabilize and preserve our products. So that's really one of our key differentiators. And then we have third-party irritation, eye, and skin testing. And it's, the technician called us and he said, all of our years of testing, we've never seen a product come back with the same results as water. Like it literally acts like water on the skin into the eyes. So it's completely non-irritating.
Wow, that's amazing. Okay, so you can see all the ingredients right here. I just made the screen a little bit smaller. So this is pretty much, that's all you guys have, right? You don't have anything else?
That's it.
Okay, so 6 ingredients, and and if you want your house to smell in a certain way, then you can just add some essential oils that you particularly like. I love smelling like vetiver and orange in my house, and so I add those, and you just shake it up, and that's that. Can you put how the coupon is written? So far, it's not working for me. So it's Hormones Balance. So the coupon code is, let me just write this down here, Hormones Balance. That's what we've been told by your team. So I'm
checking on that, but I'm pretty sure it's right.
Okay. And then Gina saying, do you have to mix the solution fresh every time, or does it last for a while in a spray bottle?
Oh, it just lasts until it's done, and then you can just refill it. The bottle.
Yeah.
It's totally shelf stable. I mean, it'll last for years and years.
Yeah, totally. Okay. And so there is quite a number of you coming in saying, sharing your story. So Cindy saying, I'm dealing with cancer number 6. Cindy, I hope that with some of the things that we teach in Hormones Balance, you will never have to deal with number 7. And this can be put into true remission. Carly is also sharing, I think it's one of your website addresses here, brunchbasics.com/pages toss the toxins.
I was going to say, I mean, so what I would say to you is, what's the name of the person that just talked about her cancer?
That was Cindy.
Okay. Toss every toxin in your home. You're just at that stage where there's nothing that should even be put in a box underneath a bed or in a cabinet. Even like I said, at the parts per million, parts per billion level, your body needs to be able to breathe completely clean air and rest and restore and rejuvenate, because there's already so many toxins we can't control once we leave the home. Yeah. So to be able to create that place for your body to heal is really imperative.
Yeah. And I really love that idea, like what you're saying about the, I think it's, a lot of, sometimes people say, oh, I'm just so overwhelmed with this whole thing. I should just like live under a rock and just go and live in this isolated island, because everything you guys talk about, there's toxins and everything. Yeah. And the thing is that it's just as simple as you just reducing the toxic load. That's the whole problem. That's the whole issue. On the other hand, you have the other spectrum of people who will say, there's toxins everything and everywhere, and your body is designed to deal with it. That's true, but it's the amount of toxins that is coming in that your body is able to deal with or not, right? And so what we're doing here is cleaning products is one of the simplest things for you to replace. And people go like, oh, I'm lost, what to buy. I mean, those are the safe, simple solutions that you have to really replace. And the whole idea is to reduce the toxic load. Yes, your liver is able to take care of that. Your kidneys are designed to do that. You're designed to sweat, right? And your skin is also a form of detoxification organ. All of those are, yes, but is the amount that really matters. And so, yeah, you cannot control, for example, like if you live in a city, I mean, what are you going to do, right? Walk around with an oxygen mask? I mean, you're not going to do that. You're going to be inhaling that stuff, but at least you're offloading the stuff that's in your home, and you're in a home all the time. And that is a big difference, is that, your laundry. I mean, the stuff that you put on your clothes, I mean, that stuff goes into your skin. That's an absorbable.
It follows you to your office. And even if you're not in your house all the time and you're coming home at the end of the day, when you sleep is when your body is naturally detoxifying your exposures for the day. And so if we have that chemical soup in our homes, even at a very small level, if your system is if you're trying to heal or you're in a weakened state, I can't express the amount of stories we have of people that have been dealing with everything from infertility to nagging skin issues to migraines. I mean, year after year after year, we hear so many people say, all I did was get rid of the chemicals in my home, or all I did was switch cleaning products, and some of these nagging symptoms are just gone. So
what about, if somebody has like a softener, like if you, like people like using softeners for some of the fabrics, right? And that's like one of the most toxic things you can put on your clothes as well. And that stuff stays, which is like even worse. What's the alternative that you have for that?
Honestly, I've never personally used one. So, I mean, I know that when you use our dryer balls,
yeah, the dryer balls can be helpful.
Sure. Right? They're not here, but we have wool dryer balls that are amazing, and keeping them in your dryer is an amazing way to obviously like reduce static, and that can contribute to that. But sometimes it's better to look at other things, like let's figure out a water softener for the house or other ways to mitigate an issue versus just adding chemicals, which, like you said, that's one of the hardest things to get off, because they cling. They're designed to literally embed in your clothes.
Yeah. So, Hannah is saying, I have 3 kids and 2 dogs, and I only use Brunch Basics in my home. It works. Yeah. I think that's one of the, how do you address the issue of people saying natural cleaners don't work?
Oh,
I need that strong chemical thing to get the stuff out of my house, right? Like how
I get it. They just haven't used the right one. I don't know, because I can't even tell you, like, the testimonials, the before and afters are just amazing. People think this works just like Clorox or bleach, or, I mean, you can use it on a car engine. So, I mean, so if you just think about soap and just the way that soap works, and if you know anything about just the mechanical action of soap, I mean, that alone can do so much more grease cutting than these toxic conventional cleaners. I think we've just been ingrained to think that you have to have that harsh smell to know that something's clean, when in fact, it's really the opposite. I mean, after someone cleans with conventional cleaners, the indoor air quality in your home is so much worse than it was before they cleaned.
Yeah, totally. One other last question here for you is, What's the difference between, and by the way, you guys, for those of you who are logging in late, we have a coupon code that's spelled together. Yes, Hormones Balance. Sorry if I didn't make it clear. There's no space in between to get your $5 off on a starter kit. And it lasts for a long time. I remember started using your starter kit and it lasted me for like good 3 months easily.
Yeah.
And so that was awesome. Hey, so I have a question for you before I let you go. My grandmother used to work as a nurse during the Second World War, and I remember was her story of that's all they used was water and vinegar with some lemon zest in it or lemon oil in it, and that's all they had, obviously, during that time. And she said it worked like a charm. And I have recipes on my blog as well for that kind of cleaners. Can you talk a little bit about that? Like, what's the difference, and what's the difference between that, a simple solution like that, versus Brunch Basics?
Yeah. Well, I'll start by saying when I hear someone's using vinegar and water, I'm very excited because there's not much to complain about there in terms of safety. I will say, just to keep in mind, if you are someone that gravitates toward vinegar and water, I personally don't love the smell of it. It's a little salad dressing-y, but vinegar actually does give off acetic acid, which can be caustic and over time can corrode your HVAC system. So that's just something to be aware of. People with really sensitive lungs sometimes have reaction to vinegar because of acetic acid. But I would say the main thing, honestly, difference is just efficacy. I mean, I don't know of vinegar and water being able to remove the stains and cut the grease and clean windows, maybe windows being the easiest one of all those, but as well as something like our product. It's just the efficacy is not there, but it's all in all, it's a really clean alternative.
Right. Yay. All right. I don't think we're getting a lot more questions at this point. So let's see if you guys want to post your question. We're trying to get to it this weekend, and hopefully most of them have been answered. And the website is super informative. I just love how you guys put a lot of really nice content together.
Thank you. I will say, guys, that is what we're about. We never set out to sell soap. We were always there to share information that will help people live a cleaner life, to toss the toxins from their home. It's not overwhelming. It's actually such an amazing opportunity to so easily remove so many of the daily exposures you have that could be hindering your health. You could be doing all the things and buying all the amazing food and supplements, but if you're coming home to a place that gets regular treatments from a pesticide company, has synthetic fragrances, all you're doing is slowing that healing process. So toss your toxins. It's a finite process. We make it super easy. We have so much information on our website that goes way beyond just, we talk about EMFs and organic mattresses and all the things. And I wanted to clarify too, that it's 15% off all starter kits. So that's like $10 off the premium starter kit.
Okay.
So it includes all of them.
Okay. So the 15% applies across the store.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Starter kits. Yeah.
Right. What if you guys wonder where to get started off with, I do recommend the starter kit because it just gives you a bottle for every different application. Can you just go over what are the bottles, what are the applications that we have?
Yeah, like what it can do.
Yeah.
All purpose. So countertops, dishes, toilets, sinks, floors, pretty much any surface material except for like a synthetic material. Laundry, stain removal is probably one of the most popular ones. So yeah, the list goes on. Your baby's bottom, anything. Eye makeup remover, shaving your face. We use it for everything.
Oh, wow. Let's do one more last question before we chow off because I do have to go. Darcy is asking, I use Young Living Thieves All-Purpose Cleaner. How does this compare?
Yeah, I don't know I don't have the ingredients in my head. But Thieves is a really great brand. And I really can't speak directly to it. I'm sure their ingredients are really clean. I'd love to know what their preservative action is, because that's usually the thing that sets us apart from even the cleanest cleaners. So yeah, but no, nothing against Thieves.
Talk about greenwashing. What are some of the ingredients that companies that advertise themselves as being super clean, greenwashing sort of products? What are some of the things that they use that aren't as clean as they say they are because of lack of research or just lack of people's knowledge? Because, we're chemists. That's not our job, right?
No, exactly. Unfortunately, the cleaning product industry is not regulated, and they do not have to list all of the ingredients on the label like you do with personal care products or with food, which is really sad because it's still going to the same place right inside your body. So I'm not going to list off a bunch of ingredients that you're probably not going to remember me saying, but the way to test our perspective, the best way to test for product safety is at the very least to turn it around. If you see caution, warning, or danger, it does not belong in your house, because those words are actually regulated, and there's certain ingredients that have to be in the product to require that to say a caution, warning, or danger. Yeah, they aren't just like things that are added, just never trust the front of the bottle. I mean, that's one of my biggest pieces of advice is anything can say clean. And if it's not USDA organic and they just say organic, I wouldn't trust it. So green, clean. And then the other thing too is companies are really quick to talk about what they don't have in their bottle, but I like when I can see what they do have. So I would not trust a product that doesn't list their full ingredient list, even though it's not required by law to do so. I think that if we're going to bring it inside of our homes, we need to know what's in it. So just because something says contains no phosphates, no BPA, no phthalates, no synthetic fragrances, just turn it around, and say, okay, so what does it have? What is that preservative in there?
Yeah, awesome. I think this is super valuable. I think this is a huge takeaway for me from this call today is like what you said. I think it's just a simplified version of, instead of remembering every single ingredient and there's new ones coming up every time and it's hard to keep track of everything, is just to see those warning. And I'm assuming you don't have any warning disclaimers on your product, because none of the ingredients requires that by law.
No.
So this is really fascinating. Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you guys for listening in.
And I think this is a really big, the big difference is like whenever I talk to founders who have gone through hell and back, who have personal stories and personal interest in detoxing their lives or changing something because of issues they've had, it's always like I find those are the best products. So,
it definitely is a product made from the heart. Took us over 18 months and over 100 iterations to find a formula that satisfied our standards for safety and efficacy. So I hope you guys will try it.
I think formulation is something that most companies don't talk about, and just what a painful process it is. We are going through that right now with some of our stuff, and it's just it is a complex. Yeah. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here today. I hope you've learned something new. And I will just do a quick post on how to redeem the $5 off, or the 15% off, on any of the kits that you like. I do recommend the starter kit because it's a really wonderful way of easing yourself in to really take care of most of the cleaning needs that you have in your home from now on. All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a wonderful weekend. Thank you, Allison. And I'll see you guys soon.
Bye.